First guest tonight is a multi-talent. She could power a city with one strand of her DNA. She has a new series called Nobody Wants This, premiering on Netflix a week from today. Please welcome Kristen Bell. You look great.
Why, thank you.
How's everything?
Everything's great, you know?
We have a weird relationship in that, I think, because I feel like we see each other a lot over the summer.
Yeah.
And then never at all the rest of the year.
You gotta take a break.
Except for, this. It's almost like the opposite of going to school with somebody. You know?
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
We have a complete lapse from like September until June, and then we're hardcore in the summer.
Hardcore in the summer,
there we go.
Like camp. In fact, we kind of went to camp together. We went on a family vacation together.
Which, can I just say, I'm always so grateful that we're invited, because I know it's a limited list, and I just gotta say, I'm really grateful that
Well, it's just me and you. I think it's important to...
It's so much fun, though. It's so much.
We did have fun. What was the highlight for you?
The highlight for me this year, I gotta say. So it's, for those who don't know, it's a sort of family vacation in Idaho. And normally it's pretty serene and there's a lot of fishing, but this year was kind of off the hook. There was like a lot of dancing.
You can't say off the hook at a fishing type situation because that's a real negative.
Oh, that's
for
like
us.
bad news for the fishermen.
In fact, we're gonna have to do some kind of voodoo.
Oh, shoot.
We'll remove that from our, but.
My favorite was the silent disco.
The silent disco. Explain what the silent disco is, because it's one of the strangest things you'll ever see.
But I love it. Okay, I'll start by saying I don't love live music. I love music, but listening to music with other people sometimes gets me overstimulated, and then I have to sort of like share in the energetic experience with those around me, and I'm like not here for that.
Okay.
But you put the headphones on and you can choose your own station, and there's like, you know, early 2000s sort of like femme punk, and then there's like R&B, and then there's rap, and you can choose your own station and you just kind of groove. And there were, I don't know how many people were there, just...
There's like, 40 people dancing to 3 different music lists, and you can't hear anything. It's totally silent.
But if you take yours off, you can hear everybody like, Dreamweaver!
Yeah.
I can hear, and you just hear everybody screaming different music. It's pretty exceptional.
And if you're like me and don't dance and don't put the headphones on at all, it's just a strange thing to just sit there and watch all these people.
You didn't participate?
With no music. No, because I run the equipment, I'm very busy running the equipment. That's what I tell my wife. Yeah, no, I'm running the equipment. And by the way, your husband, Dax, danced a lot, which surprised me. And so much so that he was wearing the headphones and he sweated through the headphones to the extent where he said, "You're gonna have to burn these. These are not good anymore."
He danced so hard his shirt fell off. Do you remember that? Because he also thought he had to burn his shirt. He was completely saturated.
Yeah.
Like to the point where there was no getting around the fact that he had to change his shirt. It would have been a cute bit of like, oh, your shirt's coming off. But it was actually, people were retreating from him on the dance floor being like, why are you so wet?
And then you guys, as I recall, you left from that vacation. And you took your kids on another vacation.
We did.
To, where did you go again?
Well, Jimmy, we went to Denmark, Iceland, and Norway.
The whitest people all in the world gather in that area.
Yep.
And how was that?
SPF 200. It was beautiful. Well, we try to travel with the kids every summer somewhere where we just say, like, we're gonna pick a place on the globe, and we're not gonna know the language, and we're not gonna know what the smells are, and we're not gonna know what the food is like, and we're just gonna see how other people live, and we're gonna, like, observe, and it's kind of like a great way to sort of burst their bubble. But this one it was really awesome. Denmark was the coolest because we had the first time experience. So our kids are of similar ages, right?
Right, yeah.
But don't you find that going on vacation as a parent, it's not a vacation. You're just watching your kids in a different city.
It's terrible.
It's
terrible.
Like,
it's worse than being at home.
Truly, because they have none of their creature comforts. They're asking you 1,000 more questions than they normally do.
They're in your room.
Oh, God. Well, listen to this. The hack is when we went to Copenhagen, we stayed at this hotel that was right at Tivoli Gardens, which is like a 7-acre theme park, which apparently is maybe where Walt Disney got the idea for
Oh, it's an
Disneyland.
old one.
Yeah, it's an old one, and you can look up all these cool images of people in like the 1920s, like with their parasols getting on these like rickety roller coasters. And anyway, the hotel opens up into the theme park. And so we just were kind of like, are we gonna like free range parenting and roll the die here? We let them wake up. They woke up at like 6 every morning. They like scanned their bracelets to go outside. Didn't see them for 7 hours.
Oh, really? That was
Just
really
running around Copenhagen.
And that was okay.
Apparently, they're both alive. We all returned home.
So they went on the rides and everything?
All on the rides. It was heaven. We just had coffee, we played spades, and then around 3 o'clock we'd be like, anybody see him? And then one of them would run up and need a Band-Aid or
Oh, they
whatever.
must have loved that.
It was very cool.
And they were allowed on the rides without an adult. That seems like most of the rides have a thing. Well, that's here, maybe not over in Denmark.
No, it's real loosey-goosey over there.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have lawyers in Denmark. Is that possible?
Possibly.
You told me a really good story, and I said, please remember this for the next time you're on the show, about taking Dax home for the first time to your family.
Yes. So Dax visited my childhood bedroom for the first time, I don't know, however many years ago, and he was walking around and kind of snooping, and we had been together for maybe like a year or so, and he opens the interior of my closet and pulls open the door, and he's like, whoa. And let me also preface and color this story with the fact that I didn't go through puberty until I was 27, okay? I was an incredibly late bloomer. So he opens the door to my closet and he sees this huge Antonio Banderas poster, like a really sexy poster. And he was like, huh. And I didn't think anything of it. It's been there for, I don't know, however many years. And he was like, this poster, huh? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, Antonio B in a Speedo. And I was like, yeah. Hey, let's go. So cut to like 2 years later, we're having like a very sweet moment, and he said, hey, I feel like I've gained your trust enough to ask you a question. Will you be honest with me? And I was like, of course. He said, did you really like Antonio Banderas, or were you just feeling left behind and picked the first poster that you could find of a hot guy and put it up? And I was like, you have unraveled me. Because I didn't realize it until that moment. I had like no sense of who I was at 14 and just wanted to catch up with all my girlfriends. I was like, we're putting up pictures of hot guys.
I like to imagine what a roller coaster this story is for Antonio Banderas right now.
You know what?
Like, oh, and he's like,
But there's more. He makes another appearance because cut to about, I don't know, 8 years ago, we had told this story to Monica, who hosts Dax's podcast with him, and she snuck into our bedroom on my birthday and hung another really sexy poster of Tony B above our bed.
And is it still there?
No, we have taken it down, but it was there for a good 6 months.
Kristen Bell, her new show is called Nobody Wants It on Netflix. We'll be right back.
Doesn't it feel good to say it out loud?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry, I'm cute. I like when people notice.
There you go. You are cute, I noticed.
Thank you. See, I know.
You know what else feels good? To say something embarrassing like the second that you meet someone.
Okay.
I'll go first. I had this clear mole removed from my face that no one ever noticed right here. And now the scar is, I think, way more noticeable than the clear mole ever was. I feel like it's all anyone's staring at.
That's the first thing I noticed when you came in.
Is it gross?
It's brutal.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That is Kristen Bell and Adam Brody in Nobody Wants This, your new show, which my wife and I watched last night and we enjoyed very much. You play a podcaster who deals with sex, a sex podcaster.
Yeah, or provocative. It's not just sex.
Not
Jimmy.
just sex.
Come on.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, she lives out loud, she's provocative and has no shame and wants other people to live the same.
And Adam plays a rabbi.
Does.
Who you don't realize is a rabbi.
No.
You're at a party and you've kind of finally figure it out. And
Right.
You guys, there's a spark between
We have some hot chemistry. And then as the show goes on, you kind of have this like exploration into this very intimate relationship of the somewhat Romeo and Juliet, like they want to be together, but the world does not want them to. And like, what does that look like in modern dating?
And now we know, yes.
Now we know.
It's like a Shlomeo and Juliet, if you will. Use that in your promotion.
Okay, well, I'm gonna steal that.
And then perhaps this is part of what attracted you to this project, but your husband Dax does a very popular podcast, and
I've heard.
does he have I know on your show, like your character is careful about what she says about the rabbi. Is he careful about what he says?
No.
No, not at all. Yeah, I didn't think he was. Does he ever say, hey, is it okay if I talk about this or that?
I don't think so, no.
He doesn't.
No, because I guess there's sort of like an unspoken agreement of like, well, this is it. We got one ride on Earth. You know, just live out loud. I don't know. I don't think he's ever crossed a line, but he definitely has told some embarrassing stories about both of us.
And you've done that about him as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it all works out. And then you have this musical called Reefer Madness that is something that it's playing here in L.A.
Yeah.
What theater is it at?
The Whitley Theater. We
Whitley Theater.
renovated the Whitley Theater where Rock of Ages started. Yeah, there's a lot of cool theater experiences in LA.
You go back a long way with this particular...
Big time. I did it 25 years ago off Broadway. The production had started here in LA. It moved off Broadway. I joined the cast. The bummer of it all is we were in tech, which is like the highest point before you actually open the show of rehearsals on September 11th. So I was with this entire group of people on September 11th when all that went down. We were together for 2 days. We became very close. And the end of the story is they were the ones that convinced me to move to Los Angeles. So I have a huge debt of gratitude to everyone involved in Reefer Madness, the writers, the director, the other cast members, because I would not have moved to LA. I would not have met my husband. I would not have had my kids. And the show, spoiler alert, it's not actually about Reefer, it's about misinformation and it's about challenging authority. And so we figured it was about time 25 years later to revive that sentiment in the age of what can you trust?
You had to pinch hit on this one, right? You had to step in.
God, yeah, and it was so exciting. So the whole time I'm like being a producer, but I'm like, really wishing I was in the show. Although the cast is incredible and the girl who plays my part, Darcy Rose Burns, could not be more perfect. But there was a point in August when 6 of our cast members got sick and it was only a cast of 12. And we were like frantically calling people we knew that knew the music, like, could you go on tomorrow night and learn the show? And there was one role we did not have on a Thursday. And I was like, you gotta prove it to yourself that you can do it, Kristen. So I learned it in like 3 hours and then performed on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Was that terrifying?
Yes!
3 hours.
Well, I kind of knew the music.
Uh-huh. That's
but
crazy.
I just was winging everything else. And it was awesome. It was awesome to just be thrown into that, you know?
Right,
and to be like, I'm just gonna show up at a theater in Hollywood tonight and fill in for someone.
And also, hopefully, a lot of the people saw what the title of the show was and they came high.
I think a lot of them are coming high, yes. Yes, I agree.
Kristen Bell, everybody. Reefer Madness is your play. If you're here in LA and nobody wants this, premieres a week from tomorrow on Netflix. Thank you, Kristen. We'll be back with Peter Krause.